Welcome back to Tala Serie. Good afternoon, and this is your favorite talk show segment. This is Tala Talk. This afternoon, let's talk about love for country and volunteerism. We invited a resource speaker who is an advocate and an achiever at a very young age. Ladies and gentlemen, his passion for environmental journalism, youth empowerment, peace, and nation building is very remarkable. Thus, pwedeng-pwede talaga siya pasok na pasok to give us some inputs on the topic, the youth taking charge, how young people can channel their love for country through volunteerism in the time of COVID-19. Mga kaigsuunan ko, I am very proud to share with you to share this afternoon via live interview this person who I call a pillar of volunteerism and a kapwa worker in the field of journalism in the special field of environmental journalism. So mga katala, let's all get ready to hear it from our guest. He is a communications for practitioner, and he once served as advocacy and communications officer of the UNICEF-funded SUGPAT, Alternative School for Peace Building and the Arts for out-of-school youth in Zamboanga, the Philippine representative in the European Development Days, sponsored by the European Commission in Brussels, Belgium. And ladies and gentlemen, take note, the very first ever ASEAN Youth Eco Champion awardee from the Philippines. Currently, he is the executive director of the Association of Young Environmental Journalists. He holds a degree on mass communication from Silliman University, magna cum laude. Our guest speaker, mga kaigsuunan, via Zoom interview, Mr. Val Amiel Vestil. Mayang hapon, Sir Val, and welcome to DepEd Negros Oriental.
Hi, good afternoon, Sir Rodel. Thank you for having me.
How are you there?
I'm good. I'm good. Everything is still, we're in the middle of the crisis, but it's a good time to spend time with my family.
Okay, very good. You know, to have a very young speaker like you to talk about a topic that would mobilize the young is very fitting. And Sir Val, please know that we are watched by teachers, students, stakeholders, and a lot more. So we are very, very proud to have you this afternoon. Anyway, straight to the point, Sir Val. Our topic is on how the young can channel the love for country through volunteerism in a time of COVID-19. We believe that you have the strong passion for your organization. Would you like to share your insights on the topic, Sir Val?
Yes, sure. First off, once again, thank you so much to the DepEd Schools Division of Office of Negros Oriental for this opportunity, especially to Kuya Felix, dagang salamat. Thank you for having me again, Sir Rodel. Again, my name is Val, no, and I'm the Executive Director of the Association of Young Environmental Journalists, or AYEJ. Before we deep dive into the presentation, I would just like to give a quick background of my organization. No, we're a youth-led environmental nonprofit with a mission to enable communities to be ecologically literate and proactive towards a more livable planet. Among hashtag is Let the Earth Be Heard. We essentially work as a media hub to let the earth be heard through our three C's, which is to build capacity through our environmental writing workshops, create content by producing relevant environmental stories and publishing them on local newspapers, such as Metropost Dumaguete, Negros Chronicle, and the Island News, Dihasa Dumaguete.
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
And increasing conversation with our various online and offline campaigns. We also publish on our official website, which we just launched, which you guys can visit. You can go to ayej.org. So for us at AYEJ, in the work on environmental journalism, everything was really all set for this year. We had projects in the pipeline, we had projects in here in Cagayan, in El Salvador. We even plan to go back to Dumaguete, go to Bacolod, and Palawan as well. But, of course, and I think all of you understand, COVID happened. All projects were canceled and all projects were indefinitely postponed. The question on everybody's mind now was, what are we going to do now? I'm sure, Sir Rodel, after this
Yeah.
pandemic happened, you asked yourself the same question, no? What are we going
Yeah.
to do now? We were all at a standstill. So one day, nagtanga ko, no? Murag na shock, murag ni sink in sa ako ang wow, we are facing this global crisis right now. One day, a friend of mine messaged me asking if I was interested to be part of a fundraising campaign. And I cannot take sitting it down. No, I just can't take sitting down when all of these things are happening. And because we need to adapt and respond quickly to the crisis, I did not think twice about saying yes to Mariel Jalani, who is our lead convener and founder of Kapit Mindanao. We eventually co-developed Kapit Mindanao, a digital fundraising campaign which aims to assist youth-led organizations in their COVID response initiatives all over Mindanao. Sir Rodel, when we say all over Mindanao, we really mean all administrative regions in Mindanao. We wanted to reach the most unreached communities in Mindanao, no? Bilang isang Mindanaoan, I was raised in Cagayan de Oro. I spent a good number of years here before I went to college there in Dumaguete. I felt the need to really give back to my community here in Mindanao. So we made Kapit Mindanao, and our campaign is going to end in July. And so far, we have raised cash donations amounting to over 400,000 pesos, which have assisted over 1,800 families through the 20 youth organizations who had their own relief efforts on the ground. Our assistance came in the form of relief goods, hygiene packs for daily wage earners and low income families, and even PPEs for medical frontliners. And looking at these numbers made us reflect how were we able to do that in a matter of less than 2 months as young people, all in the comfort of our own homes, especially that most of us in the campaign did not even know each other. Fun fact, the founder Mariel and I have not ever really worked together, no. But the simplest answer to that question was our love for country. Definitely. Mao gina siya ang bottom line, Sir Rodel. It was
Yeah.
because of our love for country and because of the people who were at stake, whose lives are at stake. Fellow Filipinos' lives. So the essential question now is that with our immense love for country, how do we strategically build a volunteer community and cultivate leadership in response to the global health crisis? Before we answer this essential question, Sir Rodelno, I would just like for us all and for our viewers, I would like to encourage you all to ground yourselves in three simple realities that I would like to share with you all. First reality is that we all thrive around different levels of privilege. We're all enjoying actually different degrees of privilege. And by privilege, I don't mean having an expensive car, an expensive cell phone, and an expensive house. Privilege for me is access to opportunity. And for all of you, teachers, students, young people, colleagues who are listening to this webinar right now, I would like to tell you that you are privileged because you have access to this opportunity. And our job is really to give access to these opportunities to all people who do not enjoy this privilege. No? So that's our first reality that I want you all to ground yourselves in. The second reality is that our generation is so full of energy and ideas that we need to take advantage of. My generation, the millennial generation, your generation as well, Sir Rodel, marag di na talayog generation,
Yeah.
no? Generation gap. We have so much energy and ideas that we need to take note of and that we need to take advantage of. And finally, that is that no one will do it for us. No one can love our country better than us, no? No one can be kinder to other people better than us. No one will fix our problems than ourselves, no? So going back to our essential question, I think more than the feelings and emotions of loving our country, we must always try and manifest that love for country through our deeds. Walk the talk, kumbaga, no? Just like in relationships. Dili lang enough nga we tell our partners, I love you every day. No, dili enough nga we tell them and we remind them we love them. We must also show them that we do really love them, no? And helping in the ways that we can and going the extra mile to lead in organizing initiatives that will help our community is a great way of showing our love for country. And based on our fundraising campaign, these are the major insights that I learned. I'll just share three. First is we were able to exponentially grow the idea of helping Mindanao into a massive following simply because there was a plan. From three friends in conversation to a core working group of five to the creation of seven working committees and finally expanding to 100 partner organizations. It really started with people talking about the idea, developing the idea, implementing the idea, and then amplifying that idea. But what's really important in this flowchart are actually the arrows. In between those stages of the project, I think, is the most crucial, which is the planning. We prepared primers, partner kits, step by step guides on how to get involved, even before we launched the campaign. You know, in trying to build communities, we have to make it clear with our volunteers that we're trying to reach out to what their scope of contribution is. The
Correct.
direction needs to be very clear, the problems properly defined, the strategies all set for your volunteers and potential community to believe in your project or campaign. You know, Sir Rodel, I really think belief is a powerful thing. And if we give people all the good reasons to believe in our crazy ideas, we will be able to create a loving community of believers and subsequently a loving community of leaders and doers. Second is the importance of project ownership. I think the greatest strategy, actually the most necessary step we need to take to make any campaign work is to give our volunteers and partner organizations ownership of the project. We wanted them to own the campaign and make them understand that the campaign is really theirs as much as it is ours. And ownership, sir, can be cultivated in something as simple as changing your messaging. Instead of saying you are part of this campaign, tell them this is your campaign. No? Ownership can also be cultivated by giving your volunteer community the agency to employ strategies, their own strategies they believe that would work. Because of this, a lot of our partners have actually done their own strategies to raise funds for the campaign. They sold merchandise, organized workshops, even designed their own face masks. The point here is that no one has the monopoly of an idea. No, an idea only becomes really great if the people that you are engaging with believe that the idea is also theirs to own. We're talking about love for country here, the idea for the love of country. We need to be able to tell people to own that idea so that they will be able to love their country equally as well. Lastly, push yourself to be innovative and creative. We are really left with no choice, especially now in COVID, but to adapt, create, and innovate. And this is what we're doing right now, Sir Rodel, right? Through this webinar.
Yeah.
As this is a fundraising campaign, we really need to squeeze out all our creative juices just to make sure our strategies help us achieve the campaign goals, which is to raise money for our beneficiaries. Apart from the usual solicitation with donors, no, we thought of other strategies to drum up more attention for the campaign, such as collaborating with creatives, organizing Facebook Live concerts with artists from around the world, and even organizing a webinar series where we get to hear from our beneficiaries and partners. So, in summary, these are the concepts that will help us show that we do really love our country. Because again, we need to walk the talk. How do we love our country? By helping a community. And we can help and build a community if we do have a solid preparation, we focus on project ownership, and if we innovate and become creative. So that's all for my presentation, Sir Rodel. I hope you got something from that and our
Of
listeners as well.
course. Yeah, that was comprehensive and very laudable. And I appreciated the way you noted that you did it in the comfort of your own in your own homes. I prepared actually questions, but along the way, when you presented, I saw that I heard that the answers were there. Basically, I just would like to ask this, Serval, how did you gain the trust of the generous public? Because trust nowadays is very very important, and we on activities and projects like this, it's so hard to win the trust of the giving public. But in your case, you were able to raise that fund in a span of very short time. I'd like to ask if you could give us concrete answers to this.
Trust is a very difficult thing to build, no? Munang magbuwag ang mga uyab, kay walay trust.
Yeah.
But yeah, That's very important that you ask that, because the first step is really in trying to build trust among our organizers, among the organizers first. And then if you can build that trust in your core working group, it will then exude trust to the supporting public. So concretely, practically, we built our trust by creating a solid plan of action. Naadyo yung primer, naadyo yung step-by-step guide, Sir Rodel pa, so that people, our volunteers, our partners, so that they know that dili lang ni Pucho Pucho, we really planned for this. We really put our minds and hearts into this. We did not just wake up one day and say, okay, we want to help Mindanao. We actually thought of very unique strategies that will make sure that our trust will be built. Second also is the branding. It's very important to build a good branding. So when I talk about branding, I'm thinking aesthetics, our Facebook posts, the colors that we use, our logos. If your viewing public will see that your branding looks very professional, looks very credible, you build that credibility with them and they will begin to trust you and say, ala, dili man day ni joke ilang gibuhat. They're very serious. Third is to communicate your beneficiaries. Your general public needs to understand who are we doing it for. We're doing it for 20 communities sa bawat sulok ng Mindanao. So we show them pictures of our beneficiaries. We show them the organizations working with our beneficiaries so that they really see nga, oh, this is where my money is going. This is not just
Yeah.
going to another fundraising campaign. This is actually going to an IT community in Sarangani, a teachers community in Basilan, no? So we're all over Mindanao in that aspect.
So basically, the good thing about the project is that it's not only for one day shot. It's actually a continuing project. That after giving it, you expect that your recipients will continue it even when the pandemic is over. Am I right?
Yeah, actually, we partnered with youth organizations who already had their own initiatives, response initiatives on the ground. All
All
that we
right.
needed to do was to provide more cash donations so that they can do their work better and then they can
Okay.
reach more people.
I'd like to specify these questions, Sir Val, because nowadays this term is also very hot. Accountability. How do you manage this term in the light of the implementation of the projects that you're ongoing?
Two things come to mind, no, when the first thing that came to mind when you said accountability was government accountability, but let's not go there. But I
Yeah,
just
it's a
wanted to
different
say that
story.
government accountability is important. But in terms of accountability in our organization, we had a budget breakdown, we had financial processes, we had a financial committee to make sure that when donations come in our organization, it will, in our campaign rather, it will always be reflected. So we had donations update every 2 days, no? So we started with 10 pesos, 10,000 pesos, 30,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos. No matter how small the increments were, we were always updating our funders because we need to always give updates on our fundraising campaign to build credibility and to make ourselves accountable to
That's
these
right.
donations coming in, because this is not money na pucho-pucho na tinatapon lang, no? This is hard-earned money by our funders and donors. So we need to update them regularly. So regular updates, very important in terms of accountability.
And because you said that this is your campaign, it's not that this you are part of the campaign, but this is your campaign. All right.
Yeah.
Sir Val, because our topic in this teleserye is actually on pag-ibig, how do you liken the taking care, the nurturing of involvement to projects like this to a relationship other than what you mentioned a while ago?
Can you repeat that, sir?
How do you liken this the promotion of project or the maintaining the project to a relationship? Kasi sa
Ah,
relationship, we have to keep it this way to
oo,
make it
oo.
grow, diba?
Two words,
Okay.
commitment and consistency. Just like in relationships, we really need to commit to whoever we said yes to. In this aspect of this fundraising campaign, I said yes to serving communities in Mindanao. And because I made that commitment since the beginning, I will always choose Mindanao. I will always choose this fundraising campaign. Same sa atong mga uyab. When we commit to them, every day is a constant decision to say yes to your partner. Dili lang pwedeng, I love you. Mo rin akong commitment. It's an everyday decision, no? To commit for your partner. So it's also an everyday decision to commit for your fundraising campaign. Kay Kapoy, naay times, Sir Rodel, and I'm not gonna joke, nga wala gi donations nga ni sulod. It seemed hopeless for us. But then our commitment is for Mindanao. So we even worked harder to make strategies that will help us bring money in for our beneficiaries. Second is consistency. No, dili pwedeng day one lang ka nagpakita og mga bulak-bulak para sugton kasi mo uyab, no? You have to be consistent with your deeds and your actions to show them that you do love them every day. So organizing initiatives is really much like maintaining a relationship with your special someone.
Oh, ayun. So sa mga walang love life dyan, that's actually a tip for you in advance. The keywords are commitment and consistency. Reminds me of my favorite quote in terms of relationship, the fidelity of the heart is the heart of fidelity. All right? We are not yet through, Sir Val. I still have more questions. I'd like to
Yes.
ask, how did you respond to the youth who probably had the thought on, we are supposed to be staying at home and we don't have the luxury of um, internet connection, and yet they actually are interested to be involved.
Yeah. The mere fact no nga that there is that interest, leaders like us, colleagues, should really take advantage of that interest because especially sa youth nowadays, interest is very fleeting. One day we may be interested in this subject and then mawala atong interest for that subject and transfer to this interest. So we need to take advantage of that interest. And we can do so by really reaching out to them and telling them how they can help. Kung walay internet connection, get their phone number, text them, no? Call them, ask them, "Hi, I heard you were interested in participating. I heard you were interested in volunteering, pero wala kay internet. But there are so many other ways that you can help even if you don't have internet. Let's talk. How can you help? Let's talk." Parang inana siya, Sir Rodel.
All right. Sir Val, ma-segue ko lang ha, because actually, Sir Val, you are watched by hundreds of school paper advisors from the division of Negros Oriental right now. And I saw a while ago, I said that you are an advocate of environmental journalism. Maybe you can give some inputs to our school paper advisors as far as environmental journalism is concerned, especially at the
Yes.
time of pandemic.
Thank you so much for providing this platform. Actually, very important that you mentioned that, Sir Rodel, because right now I have a project with DepEd and CR. We are developing actually environmental journalism modules for campus publication advisors and campus journalists. So once we roll this training out in September, we will also be able to roll this out to DepEd Negros Oriental as well.
Yes, please
So
don't forget us, ha? Please huwag mo kaming
yes.
kalimutan.
Yes, sir. So we really do this because to all the campus publication advisors there, I want you to take a look at your campus paper and see how much percent of your articles are about the environment. Okay, if all your articles are not really prioritizing environment, maybe that's a problem. So as campus advisors, campus publication advisors, we need to take note nga talking about the environment, putting the environment, giving the environment a spotlight in media coverage is very important so that your students, your campus journalists will have the consciousness of environment also in their mind. Because as campus publication advisors, you know very well that the media has the power to set the agenda of a community. And if sa atong media, puro lang nato storyahan kay drugs, business, entertainment, EJK, politics, and nalimtan nato ang environment, we won't be able to talk about the important stuff like environment. I'm not saying these other topics are less important. I'm just saying nga sa atong campus publications dapat dili nato kalimtan mag-cover ta og environmental stories. And my organization can help you with that. So contact me, no? If you're a campus publication advisor, even DepEd Negros Oriental, let's partner together and make this work.
All right, mga katala, we are going to flash later on the website of Sir Val. At the same time, his contact details, particularly the Facebook account, so you would be able to connect with him. All right. So, Sir Val, we are at the close of our segment. Your parting words for our teachers.
My parting word is, admittedly, personally also, no, it's mahirap pong mahalin ang bansa natin ngayon. Admittedly. It's so hard to love a country that's so problematic. But you know what? That should give us more reason to do our part to show that we love it even more. Because ika nga sa Bible, 'di ba? The Bible told us to love the unlovable. And in these very crucial times that it's so hard with all the things that we read on the news, it's so hard to love the country who is kind of betraying us. But you know what? This should give us more reason to love our country even more. Why? It's because of our fellow Filipinos. The reason for our love for country is not for the island nation, is not for the geography of the island itself. Our love for a nation is because of our love for our fellow man. And while we have the energy and the passion and the compassion to help our fellow Filipinos, let's continue doing so even if it's very challenging.
Sir Val, nakalimutan ko, we also have youngsters watching us here right now. How do you respond to bashers? For example, yung mga taong medyo half-hearted sa mga promotions, sa mga projects na ganyan. I'd like to get your points. So they would also get positive points from a young person like you.
Yeah. How to respond to bashers? Do not respond to bashers.
Good. That's it.
Because responding to bashers takes so much of your energy when you can actually use that energy that you use for bashers to use that energy for supporters. No? Your supporters will always outweigh the bashers. So do not give them any energy and instead promote and promote and focus on your supporters.
All right. So the best way to respond to bashers is not to respond at all. So ayan mga katala, ayan po, what a productive day with us. Pero Sir Val, it's not yet over kasi dito sa Tala, we would like to give you some, because you are young, no, we are all young, we'd like to give you this segment na fast talk muna tayo. Are you game for that?
Gusto ko yan.
Sige, here we go. Let's make it fast, ha? Day or
Okay.
night?
Night.
Apple or orange?
Apple.
Pork or beef?
Pork.
Beach or mountain?
Beach.
All right, your favorite color?
Light sky blue.
Favorite author?
J.K. Rowling.
Oh, favorite song?
Younger by Ruel.
Oh, why?
Because it reminds me of the power of the youth.
Okay. Your favorite speaker?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Single or taken?
Taken for granted.
Negotiable or closed deal?
Negotiable.
Very good. O ayan mga katala, those who are interested, Sir Val Amiel Vestil is negotiable. Ayan po mga kaibigan. Dagang salamat Sir Val, and please do keep safe. And we'd like to promise mo ha, on your journalism gigs, Negros Oriental will be part of your list.
Yes, we will do environmental journalism training for Negros Oriental. That's my home. That's my second home.
All right. Thank you, and please keep safe. So mga katala, that's it for our Tala Talk. That's Sir Val Amiel Vestil. Please stand by for more dini sa Tala serye. Spread love, spread goodness. Mayong hapon.